Good evening, my dear viewers, and welcome to GETI's Live Talk, hashtag Disruptive Education. I have a very lovely guest with me today, Miss Kajal Chhatija. Before introducing my guest, let me tell you something about my organization, Global Education and Training Institute, which launched this hashtag Disruptive Education movement solely with the aim to disrupt education and provide platform to the educators and innovators and edupreneurs around the world to come to our platform and discuss their innovative ideas. So, with this aim to disrupt education, we have hosted around 1037 talks as yet, and now we are continuing this hashtag disruptive movement. We have Miss Kajal Chhatija, who is the executive director of Gayatri Group of Schools, Pune, Maharashtra. She is an enthusiast and energetic leader in empowering and engaging young minds in innovative and collaborative learning practices. Having worked with a plethora of well-known schools, she has been in this profession for last 15 years and has climbed the ladder of success from being a co-teacher to the principal to the executive director and now also the founder of her social platform. Ms. Chhatija has created the e-platform for educators by the name EduDrone We Connect. EduDrone has organized various summits, conferences, and knowledgeable sessions for students, parents, teachers, and principals. So, with this, I welcome you, ma'am, and over to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Zainab. And first of all, immense gratitude for you and for Getty for bringing so much of value and for connecting so many incredible leaders. And I feel honored and privileged to be on such a prestigious platform and looking forward for this particular session. And yes, the topic which was given to me by our sir is so dear and it's so close to my heart. That is the new age of teaching and learning. And today I am linking the topic through knowing our students, our learners, for whom we are like we I always say, we educators, if we are surviving, if our existence, if we exist, we are existing because of our learners. And we as educators, we learn each day through this journey. So let's begin and understand, when we say the new age of teaching and learning, what are we looking at? What we as educators, we must embrace. So please allow me to share my presentation. Just a minute. Yes.
Please go ahead, ma'am.
I'll
It is
just
already
give
there
me,
on the
just
screen.
give me, just yes. Just it's already there.
Yes, ma'am. You just need to flip your slides. It
Yeah.
is there.
Okay. Okay. Just a minute. I'll just stop sharing over here. Okay, and I'll go back to my screen.
No problem, ma'am.
Just
You
give
can share.
me
Yes,
a
ma'am.
second. Yeah, I'm sharing it again. Yes, this is what I'm talking about: new age of teaching and learning, uh, embracing technology,
We
and
all have adapted and learned
all have
so much.
adapted. Yeah, so yes, my screen is visible, right?
Yes, ma'am. It is visible. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So, again, a warm welcome for those who are observing, watching us live on the Facebook. Yes, we are on the platform of Getty. And today we will be talking about the new age of teaching and learning, catering through different learning styles. So, let's go ahead. Yes, we are in the 20th century, catering to Generation Z. This is so funny that we keep talking about that. Yes, we are in 20th century where we already exist, but this reminder hit so hard in the iconic year, that is 2020, where since the 2000, the new millennium hit, we were in the 20th century. But yes, COVID is it is termed as blessing in disguise, where we actually realize that yes, we are in this new age of learning, and need of the hour is to understand our learners. So we are trying to understand new learning styles, and these can be defined, or you can term it as classifying, identifying in different way. Generally they are overall like patterns that provide direction to learning and teaching. Learning style can also be described as a set of factors, behaviors, and attitudes that facilitate learning for an individual in a given situation. So we've been talking about it since ages, that we have different learners and they learn at their own pace, at their own age, at their own levels, isn't it? So, coming to the topic, yes, today we are going to discuss VARK, the WARK model, the four different learning styles an educator must, and it's you can consider its need of the hour. Once we know the fact, how does the child understand, and accordingly educator can design, can recreate the learning deliberations which happens on online classes. So yes, this acronym which is VARK, the work, is used to describe four modalities of student learning that were described in a 1992 study by Neil D. Fleming and Colleen E. Mills. So these different learning styles, you can consider it may be visual, auditory, reading, writing, and kinesthetic like child who is very you can say aggressive, who can't sit at one place, that stands for kinesthetic, were defined after thousands of hours of classroom observation. We might have experienced many students who are there present on online, and same method, we just can't apply same sort of method when we are addressing the learners. We have different brains. For example, if we have 30 students, we have to consider that we have 30 brains in the classroom, and they function differently, they perceive the knowledge differently. So the authors also created an accompanying questionnaire for educators to give to students to help them identify and understand their own learning preferences. So, this is how it was initiated at a very beginning, like very early stage, that is 1992. So, as we discussed, every student is different. Students have different learning styles. Some students retain information easily when it is presented to them via a format or method that may confound one of their classmates. So, we might have encountered some students learn best when it is presented in a form of a presentation, in a form of a video, in a form of role play, enacting, and even learning by doing. So some prefer studying alone, while some prefer to be in groups and have group discussions. So cooperative learning is also one of the new, you can consider new style of engaging young learners as per the different role. We might have heard one becomes the presenter, one becomes the timekeeper, becomes the scriber, and one is the strategic mind who is involved while they are presenting. So let's understand and discuss different learning styles by watching a video. But over here, I highly recommend that this video we will show it towards the end of the present. Let's understand each and every style, that is visual learners. So the name says it all. When I said visual learners, visual, when I am looking at it, through it may be through charts, it may be through visual web charts, when anything is presented in a graphic depiction, when symbols are used, which terms as, like you can say, we can address visual learners. They may respond to arrows, charts, diagrams, and other visualization. Visual thinking is something, a new skill which is coming up. Doodling is another one that they love. All these signs, and even you might have seen through universal sign languages, like children prefer drawing, and then those icons are used to memorize, to remember difficult terms. So not necessarily photographs or videos over here. So visual learners tend to be holistic learners, and they prefer the content to be presented with summarizing charts and diagrams rather than sequential, and even rather than you can say presenting in terms of chronological order. So it is, but for this, to understand this and to get expertise, our educators need to understand how to present it, so that it becomes like we are presenting it in a nutshell. When we once the lesson is done, how we summarize, how we do the recap. So for that, the visual learners, we need to cater this learning style very, very effectively. So now coming to auditory learners. So auditory learners are most successful when they are given the opportunity to hear information presented to them vocally. Now I'll give you an example. Like you might have heard that children, they tend that as if they are sleeping, but they're not sleeping. They have just closed their eyes and they are trying to absorb the information as they are hearing. So they are utilizing their sense organs and targeting it at one corner. You might have heard that children, they love listening to stories. There are some children who love saying it. There are some children who always say, you say it, I am listening. And when you say, I learn the best, isn't it? You might have encountered, I'm addressing all the educators who are listening to us, or they might listen to us later. So you will, you will relate all these quotes which I am quoting right now. Ma'am, you say, I will listen. You uh, narrate it, I love listening to you. So this is what learners come up with, these sentences when they love what they are doing it. So learns best when they listen. Auditory learning is a two-way street. They often find success in group activities where they are asked to discuss course material vocally with their classmates, and they may benefit from reading their written work aloud to themselves to help them think it through. So ways of learning over here, it can be cooperative learning, it can be group discussions. So why we are addressing these learnings? So that we understand the need of the new age and we adapt in our classrooms. So yes, now coming to the third style, that is reading, writing learners. So over here they demonstrate a strong learning preference for the written word. You might have seen children taking running notes, making abbreviations. When they take running notes, they learn the best. So this includes both written information presented in class in the form of handouts and PowerPoint slide presentation, as well as the opportunity to synthesize course content in the completion of written assignments. So, you might have encountered there are some students who love written assignments, and they retrieve the information best when they write. And there are learners who do not like writing, and that is how we name them, that you are lazy, you don't like writing. But over here we need to understand the style of a learner, how the learner learns the best. So over here ways of learning are taking notes. research work, reading, writing oriented. I'll share a few more examples for such learners who love reading and writing. You might have seen children having boards, and they might use to pin up the important points. So we can encourage such learners to have a soft board in the corner of their learning area, where they can keep pinning up their writing notes. So this is how they will retrieve the knowledge, the information which they have gained. So yes, here kinesthetic learners. So here, like, even I want to address, I am also I also fall in this category. By the way, I have combination visual and kinesthetic. So very important for all of us to understand how do we learn, and then we can practice the same for our learners. So kinesthetic learners are hands-on, participatory learners who need to take a physical active role, who wants to go around, who wants to get involved and do learning by doing. So kinesthetic learners tend to engage all of their senses equally in the process of learning. You might have seen children going all over with the book, and they at times they dance, they sing. So these then you have to analyze that, yes, this child has got a lot of energy. I need to channelize, and I need to utilize the energy in the right direction. So in a way, we educators are design thinkers, are designers of our learners, where we design their learning in the new age of learning. So active nature, kinesthetic learners, they face difficult time succeeding in conventional classroom settings. They get bored very easily, and they have a lot of mood swings if their learning style is not addressed correctly, and if their energy is not utilized by the teacher. So they often thrive in scientific subjects with lab components, as the skill based instructional training engages them in productive ways of learning. Over here could be through flashcards, through hands on activities, through role plays. It could be through, again, here cooperative learning can be used, where the presenter who is presenting the idea can be a kinesthetic learner. It can also be a field trip. It can be a research come field trip, where learner has to visit, come back, do the research and submit. So these all things can be used for this particular type of learner. Now here, apart from those four, we have these learning styles, that is visual, spatial, and spatial is also for the architecture. Now I'll connect the careers associated with the type of learning. Now, auditory, listening, and then speaking goes very well with radio jockeys. And linguistic, again, the oral and verbal goes with those who are good orators, those who are good, they can become motivational speakers. Yes, kinesthetic, actors, singers, lawyers, even lawyers, like we can have a combination of all these. Then logical, mathematical. So here again there is an architecture. Like, then interpersonal, we have our counselors, even intrapersonal these days, and it's become need of the hour. So finally, it is very important to know one's learning style to get the best results, to get the best out of our learners. What are they meant for? So once we understand the learning style of a learner right in the early stage, it becomes quite seamless for an educator, for a parent, to complete that journey. So here, education way forward 2030. So considering COVID times in which the actual paradigm shift took place, and education, actually it is evolved in its true vision. And even NEP coming and taking its flight, where it's said that if NEP 2020 is actually utilized the way it is formulated, no one can stop India becoming a global power or knowledge house by 2030. So we as educators, we need to upgrade, we need to upskill and upscale our skills to cater to Generation Z and prepare them to face global challenges, provide them wings to fly and go above and beyond. We just need to give them a little push and they are all set. So now over here we'll watch a video where we'll understand how the self learning happens when we allow our children to perceive, when we give them that liberty. You will be mesmerized to see the end product, the end result, when the actual collaboration happens. Ideation, there is ideation, there is hands on, and there is a firm belief that yes, together we can do it. And finally we have the design thinkers over there. So I believe, not, thank you, sorry, my video is still pending, so I'll come back to, I want to close this slide. Okay, and then I'll share the video. Yeah, just a minute. Am I back?
Yes, ma'am, you are
Yes.
back here. You can share your video, please.
Yeah.
What a brilliant
Now I'll share
presentation,
my
ma'am. I
video.
was all engrossed listening to you. Please go ahead and share your video. Then we'll
Yeah.
take questions from the
Yeah.
audience.
So people those who are listening or who will be watching us later, let me link what the video is all about. The video is about above and beyond how this child who wants to break the path and wants to do something different and reaches the goal which is beyond one's imagination. So here I share my video, just a minute. Yes, here we are. Yes.
It was a warm spring morning down at the Main Street schoolyard. Excitement was in the air. Hey, check this out, said Charlie. The school's Going Places contest has been announced. Come on, let's go get our kits. And so the
Just a
kits
minute.
were
It's
handed
not
out.
moving further.
Everyone identical.
I'll share it again.
Everyone with a set of precise instructions. Each
Ma'am, you
student
can
set off to
reshare
work.
it. Ah,
Charlie knew how to follow directions. He made great progress and was quite proud of his work. Meanwhile, Maya
Zainab
was
ma'am,
taking her
I
time.
will share it
She
again.
watched the
I want to
world
stop
around her,
this video and
ma'am,
share again
noticing
because
other
it's not
you
ways
can
moving
in which
ahead.
stop
we go
sharing and
places.
stop sharing and share it again. Stop sharing and share it again.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, because I can see it's not going ahead. Yes, just a minute, ma'am. Yeah, I'll share it again, ma'am. Just a minute.
It was a warm spring morning down at the Main Street schoolyard. Excitement was in the air. Hey, check this out, said Charlie. The school's going places contest has been announced. Come on, let's go get our kits. And so the kits were handed out. Every one identical, everyone with a set of
I have to
precise
stop it and
instructions.
I have to share it again, ma'am. It's not
Each
going
student
ahead.
set off to work. Charlie knew how
Yes,
to follow
ma'am.
directions.
The voice is
Made great
going
progress
ahead
and
of
was
the
quite
visuals.
proud of his work.
Yes, ma'am.
Meanwhile, Maya
help me
was
stop.
taking her time,
Ma'am, you
She
just stop
watched the
sharing
world
it.
around
There
her,
is an option coming
noticing
of stop sharing.
other
Just
ways
click on
things
stop
go
sharing
places.
and remove it.
Coming removed from studio.
No.
The next morning,
this
Charlie
thing,
was
your
finished
screen which you have
and
shared, just
carefully
close
inspected
it.
his
Close
work.
the video. Just close
But
the
a
video.
noise interrupted his thoughts.
Close it on your computer. It will automatically go off the screen. Kajal ma'am, did you stop it? I guess my speaker is facing some network issues. He'll be back.
Yeah. Am I back?
Ma'am, you are, yes, ma'am, you are here and you can reshare your screen if at all
Am
you
I
want
audible,
to.
ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible. Ma'am, you can reshare your screen. Kajal ma'am, I guess is facing some kind of network issue. She'll connect in a moment. And meanwhile, I would like to request my audience to
Well,
type
I would
their
like to.
queries.
Yes.
Ma'am, you have to share the video file and like pick that file from your system and share it, please.
Through video file, na?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Yes. I'm doing it, ma'am.
No problem.
Yes. Praying Lord, technical Lord, tech God to make it happen.
Yeah, it is here. I'm putting it on the screen.
Yes.
It was a warm spring morning down at the Main Street schoolyard. Excitement was in the air. Hey, check this out, said Charlie. The school's going places contest has been announced. Come on, let's go get our kits. And so the kits were handed out. Everyone identical, everyone with a set of precise instructions. Each student set off to work. Charlie knew how to follow directions. He made great progress and was quite proud of his work. Meanwhile, Maya was taking her time. She watched the world around her, noticing other ways things go places. The next morning, Charlie was finished and carefully inspected his work. But a noise interrupted his thoughts. "Wow," said Charlie. "What is that? You didn't follow the directions, did you?" "I started to," said Maya, "but I wanted to try something different." Maya, what does that have to do with a go-kart?" asked Charlie. "Who said it has to be a go-kart?" Suddenly, my project doesn't look very exciting." "Oh, but you're a great builder," said Maya. "Hey, maybe we should work together." And so they did. First, they compared notes. Charlie was good at details. Maya, good at dreaming up ideas. Each had a different approach to getting things done. Then they got to work. Side by side, they helped one another to build something new, something inspired, something spectacular. The next morning, everyone gathered for the final challenge, the big race. Each student stood alongside his or her finished project, each cart a perfect replica. Well, almost perfect. "Ready?" asked Charlie. "Ready as I'll ever be," said Maya. Some of the other students weren't so convinced. "Ha! You may think you're going places, but you're just going to lose."
Students, start your engines. On your mark. Get set.
Charlie shouted, "Maya, they're all ahead of us. What are we waiting for?" "No worries," said Maya. "Flaps down, throttle up." Really were going places. They were going above. Begun. Right. Flaps down, throttle up. And off they went. They really were going places. They were going above and beyond.
So I want to stop the video over here and explain. Yes. So because of some connectivity issue, you might have not seen the video correctly, but I'll tell you the moral of the story. There was this contest where every child got a specific given to child to she thought of making a go-kart which can fly. And then the other child, he said, like, we can do it together. You are good at designing, I am good at noting down and keeping the instruction file. And they worked together. And then towards the end, we saw that their go-kart started flying. It has taken a, flight, and then where once they did it, all others also followed them. And then when they were doing it, when they stood for the race, they start, but they didn't, realize that what someone else is talking about. They believed in themselves, they believed in their idea, and that's how it took them to places, and that's how the revolution happened. And once the revolution happened, it took its actual flight. So this is what we can correlate when the iconic year 2020, when the COVID times hit, where it was need of the hour for every educator, every school to be online, and that was the only solution for each one of us if we were going to survive. So this is how we have learned our way, and we have come a long way. So, high time for all of us to understand the need of learning, the need of embracing, upgrading, upskilling. This is what I keep. And see, today we still learning, isn't it? We've not given up. And yes, way forward education, way forward 2030. We waiting for that moment. And in this journey, in this fight, we all are together, and we are loving this. Each day we are celebrating, and each day seems like a celebration. Where I recall 2020, everything looks very overwhelming, but we have learned and we have come, we have crossed our way. And thank you so much, Global Education and Training Institute, where they're doing incredible task. I Before we actually went online, I heard Dr. Zainab talking about that they are preparing something really great for the children, and they're coming up with great competition. So I thought this video is the perfect to set the tone for children, for parents, those who are watching us. Join their hands, and they are the ones who will take the children above and beyond. So yes, thank you, Dr. Zainab.
Thank you, Kajal ma'am. Thank you. It was an amazing video, and I loved your presentation. How you explained about each type of learning. VAK. We have been learning this since long, but how you explained it, it was very interesting. My question from you, like as you are a principal, and like what is your take on calling children to school these days, like new age of teaching? So are you in support of blended learning, or you want to call the children for all the 6 days to the school? What is your take in this?
We support both, where physically children come, and physically coming is supported by online learning. This is what pure blending is. And even if the children, those who are coming to school and being physically present, but there are some children who are not able to join. So that's what we at Gayatri we are doing it. Every classroom is equipped with online and offline. Like students, those who are away from school, and those who are not able to commute. So we have made it complete blended solution, where they can attend the classes either online or offline. And then further, the classroom engagement are connected with project work, presentations. So this is what new age of learning is all about, where we have to create the space. Now even schools are thinking really high to give space to create the new timing, new revolutionary timing. Like child can learn, like if they are like to learn in the night time, they are allowed, because e-learning engagements are there. So we are completely okay for children to complete it as per their pace.
You rightly said, ma'am, that children are given freedom to learn at their own pace. With this blended learning that we are doing at present time, few children they are comfortable studying back their home, and few are happy to come to school. So both things are being made possible in most of the schools these days, and we hope that this blending continues and it gives us really good results as children are learning in comfort of their home. They are happy to learn there, and many are happy to come to school because they have been in their houses since like 1.5 years, so they are more than happy to come to school, and they are learning in a better way, and learning outcomes are great when they are coming to school. And for few of them, the learning outcomes are good when they are home. So this is like, as you said, and this is the take for the children and the parents who want to call them or not to call them. So I would like to request my audience to post their questions in the comment section, because I already have asked one question from my dear speaker, and it is already time for us to end the show. You can post your questions in the comment section, and as and when my speaker will get the time, Miss Kajal will get the time, she come and answer your questions. Thank you so much, Kajal ma'am, for such an interesting session, and thank you, my dear audience, for sticking with us all through the session. Thank you, ma'am. Have a lovely
Thank
evening.
you. Thank you so much. Yes.